over the past couple of days, we've all been talking about the Black Panther game because it was pretty shocking when EA decided to cancel the game and shut down the studio at the same time. But on the flip side, because of the people behind this project, some of them are raging racists who do not care about the health of the video game industry. They simply care about making a few bucks and trying to insert their political propaganda into the content that they're creating. And now we're finding out that this game was canceled because it wasn't far enough along in development. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, obviously, there are a lot of superhero games that are in development currently or have come out and were complete and utter failures, like Marvel's Avengers. Guardians of the Galaxy didn't do as well as they wanted. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League was a disaster. And there are a few that have been canceled recently, like Wonder Woman and also now Black Panther. So I didn't really have a ton of hype for this. I am very reserved when it comes to supporting Marvel and DC products. It just seems like the people who are greenlighting all of these different games and movies and TV shows don't know what the hell their audiences want. I don't put a lot of faith into them anymore, but this Black Panther game, we didn't really know a lot about. The idea of it sounded okay, but the execution could have been a disaster, especially after we had heard who was on this project. The fact that there were senior writers who teamed with Alyssa Mercante to attack gamers and call us bigots. When you found out that there are ex-Sweet Baby Inc. employees that have worked on this game, it just seemed like the red flags were definitely piling up, and now we're finding out that this game had years of time put into it, and they did absolutely nothing. It says earlier this week it was revealed that EA had canceled the in-development Black Panther game and shut down its developer Cliffhanger Studios. Thanks to a new report from Jason Schreier, there is some more information regarding why the game was canceled. Per Schreier, the cancellation was viewed as a shock to employees of the studio. Wow, it's almost like you have a bunch of DEI hires who don't know what they're doing and they're shocked to hear that they got fired because a company is finally realizing that they need to hire talented people based on merits instead of the color of their skin or their gender. Gee whiz. Who could have saw this one coming? Cliffhanger reportedly had been actively hiring new employees, with the Black Panther game recently hitting a new internal milestone. However, despite hitting the milestone, there was frustration within EA. Now, this is very similar to another situation I've been talking about. The Tomb Raider live-action TV show. Phoebe Waller-Bridge has gotten 5 years worth of pay. She has gotten over $100 million from Amazon, and she has created nothing. She has raked in the dough because she's apparently been working on this Tomb Raider series, yet it's still not out. They haven't even cast a Lara. Never mind actually releasing it. That would be years and years away. That's why the rumor that it is going to internally be canceled has definitely not left people shocked. But the same thing has happened here, because apparently, as to why it was taking so long for the game's development, which began in 2021 but was announced in 2023, the studio had just started to increase its staff count. That means that it has been in development internally for 4 years at this point, and they haven't even started really making the game. It was in pre-production this whole entire time. We are talking about games taking way too long to be made. 4 years should be a development cycle from, okay, we're officially greenlighting this internally, to it's coming out. This was not a game that was supposed to be groundbreaking, earth-shattering, revolutionary, like something like a GTA 6 or an Elder Scrolls 6. This was just supposed to be another mid-tier, I'd say, superhero game. That's not what it sounds like it would be. 4 years pre-development sounds like, oh my god, they're about to make a masterpiece. But apparently the report says that many of the workers at Cliffhanger had been hired within the last year. Some, Schreier says, were only with the developer for as little as months and weeks. Insider Gaming has made multiple attempts to reach the studio for comment on how many employees were being moved to other studios and the exact number being let go. As of publishing, no response has been received. Now, this obviously sucks for the people who were actually good at their jobs and passionate about this project, because I'm sure that there were some people affiliated associated with this team that had maybe even just gotten hired that were super excited, looking forward, people who are talented. Yes, I feel very bad for them, but the problem is I can't say in general I feel bad because there are a lot of controversial figures within this studio. I mean, we've all been talking about it. An ex-Sweet Baby Inc. employee and at the time of this article being written, current EA Marvel Black Panther narrative designer was seen proudly bragging that their previous title Validate had no white people on the dev team, and they even went as far as to say that they were uncomfortable working with white people and they wanted a safe environment, which is why they only hired people who looked like them, which of course is just racism at its finest. And they've been getting raked across the coals for that. But this right here was a major issue for me too. This was back in October 2024, but the senior writer for the upcoming Marvel's Black Panther game wanted a shirt that claimed most gamers were bigots, and they were actually jumping off of an Alyssa Mercante post. Now, I think that we've all come to the realization that Alyssa Mercante does actually hate gamers. She doesn't actually care about the video game industry, and she really only thought that she could make a few bucks off of this industry, and that's why she's still a part of it. But she had said, I don't support all gamers. Most of you are bigots. Absolutely terrible thing to say. Maybe she should look in a mirror, perhaps. But Alexa Ray Correa, who is the senior writer, said, need this on a shirt. That's it. Plain and simple. Right there, it goes to show that this person should not be a senior writer, in my opinion, for a game. You do not care about games. You are attacking your customers who are gamers. Why do you think that you deserve to make money off of those people? This right here was a reason enough for plenty of people to boycott this game, plenty of people who would not have been supporting it monetarily. And of course, Alyssa played it off as, oh, you guys spend all this time online and can't recognize a meme format. You can have a meme format. That doesn't mean that it's a meme when you're saying something serious. She tries to play it off all the time like she's getting attacked unfairly, yet it's very clear what they were saying. There's no way to misinterpret that. Maybe she should go and get an interview with Randy Pitchford because they seem to be two peas in a freaking pod. But Korea is the latest red flag for the upcoming Marvel's Black Panther game. The game made headlines earlier this year, and it was discovered that Cliffhanger Games hired a former Sweet Baby Inc. employee, Danny Lalonders, who admitted to discriminating against white people during a presentation for the Game Devs of Color Expo in 2021. So, when you hear that all of these controversial people were affiliated with this project and that it wasn't even close to being done, yeah, it's pretty clear that EA made a correct decision. Now, I'm not sitting here defending EA. EA is a scummy company, just like BioWare is a scummy company. Microsoft can be a scummy company. Sony can be a scummy company. There are companies out there that are just straight up trash. So I'm not defending EA, but at this point, with all of the information that we have, I can see why they were frustrated and why they finally decided, okay, enough is enough. I mean, 4 years should, for all intents and purposes, be a full development cycle or near a full development cycle for a game. Now, sure, there's information that we're missing. Maybe they only had just gotten their funding a year ago and the developers were basically sitting in limbo, but clearly they were being paid. So it doesn't really make sense if they only just got funding. And also, what were they working on this entire time? Like, what were they being monetarily compensated for? Are we going to get that information? Probably not, because of course Jason Schreier in the Access Media wants to paint a very clear picture that EA bad, developers good. I blame everybody in this situation, just like I blame everybody in the Marathon situation. Sure, Bungie might have told them to rush the game along. Bungie might have said you have to hit this certain deadline and these certain goals. But at the same time, it was the developers who made the bad decision to plagiarize. It was the developers who came up with the bad map designs. It was the developers who came up with the bad gunplay. So sure, maybe I feel a little bit bad for the devs, but also I can't completely defend them because they're people who are making just really bad decisions. Now, despite Black Panther being canceled, EA actually went on the record to say that there will still be 3 Marvel games released, including Motive's Iron Man. Our partnership with Marvel remains strong and our multi-title long-term collab continues. EA's statement on the matters read. What they will do with the rest of these games, who knows? But again, I just personally don't have a lot of hopes at this point for any of these superhero games that could potentially come out. And a lot of people are in agreement with me that like 4 years of production is insane, even if they were trying to make something like a Nemesis system, which apparently the studio is building an evolution that would expand on ideas like the Nemesis system. So it seems that they really just wanted to get around the patent and they wanted to try to find something that was similar, that was going to scratch that Nemesis system itch, though it shouldn't have taken 4 years to even come up with a system like that. I mean, it's like you're trying to teach squirrels how to fucking code. Like, let's be real. Clearly, in 4 years of being paid, you should have been able to come up with a working system. I'm all for games taking their time to get it right, but man, 4 years and you don't even have yourself out of pre-production yet, that is quite terrible. That is long in pre-production, and that's ridiculous. And in my opinion, Black Panther is like a C-tier character anyway. I think Black Panther is cool. I wouldn't have minded getting a Black Panther game, but for all of this hype, it really turned out to be nothing. So I'll be keeping my eye on this, see if anybody else makes any statements. But apparently the EA execs were extremely frustrated. And to be honest, I don't think that gamers would have really supported this game anyway. I think that there would be some people who would have shown up to support it because they're big Marvel fans. But with all of the controversy that was already surrounding it, I think that EA dodged a bullet here. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.